I am enjoying every single second that I'm listening to this book. I could read the first Nevermoor book. And I don't have anything to say except that I loved it. Hello. My name is Nina. Welcome to my channel. Today I am back with another classic reading vlog. There's no theme to this. I am not reading any specific books. I have just finished filming 2 themed reading vlogs and I'm just excited to read whatever I feel like reading instead of books that I feel like fit the theme of the video. I wanted to take you along with me while I read, while I do fun things, while I show you what my life is like. Just a regular old reading vlog. It is spring this week. Like, we had a very rainy, dark, cold week last week, but from today on, we should be getting sun and better temperatures. So I'm really excited to spend more time on my balcony and go outside and read springy books. I just finished reading my last book and I have not chosen which one I'm going to read next. So I think that should be the first thing we do to choose the next book that I'm going to read in this video. This morning, I quickly chose my next read and I grabbed this book from my TBR shelf. It's called Someone Who Will Love You in All Your Damaged Glory. It has been on my TBR for a little while and it is written by the creator of BoJack Horseman. This is a short story collection and I don't yet know what kind of ties all these stories together. I think all of it is vaguely about love, but besides that, I have no idea. But I'm excited to find out. I usually don't really like short story collections, but I have a good feeling about this one, and I think I'm kind of in the mood. I read the first short story this morning and I am about to go to the park to read there with Leora, so I'm excited and I'm taking this book with me. I don't know if I'm gonna want to read this book in one go. I might choose like a fiction novel as well to read at the same time. I don't know if this book is like meant to read in one sitting or if you're meant to like choose a story every few days, but we'll find out. I'm excited to read this book. Good morning. It is a quiet Sunday morning. I have a cup of coffee. I have a cup of coffee. I don't know why I said tea. I've been reading this book for the past 2-ish days. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's really interesting, really good. It is a short story collection and every single short story is in some way about love. There is some more like absurd stories in here as well, which I'm really enjoying. I didn't really expect that, but I feel like everything has a bigger message, which I really enjoy. So I really like that book. However, as I kind of predicted, I do have the urge to also read like a novel. I just don't really want to read multiple short stories in one sitting. And like right now, I have like the next 2 hours to read. So I will read one short story and then read the rest of my novel. And I was looking at my physical TBR and nothing was really sticking out to me. And I think that is because last Friday I had a conversation with Leora when we were at the park together, and she was reading Nevermoor, and she told me about it. I had never heard about Nevermoor before, but it sounded so fun. So I got really excited to read that. So I decided to get it on my e-reader so I can read the first Nevermoor book. Now, everything I know about this is things that she told me, so I don't know very many things. But Nevermoor is a middle grade fantasy series, but apparently the first two books are a little bit more middle grade because the main character is like 12, I think, and then every book is she's a year older. I think the main character goes to a magical school, and there's also this thing about like cursed children and that she is supposed to be a cursed child. I don't know really what that means or why she is one, but I know that that is a thing. And Lyra told me that it kind of reminded her of the first time she read the Harry Potter series, because it's kind of similar in the sense that it is a fantasy series starting from a young child, and every year you get 1 year older. It's also a magical school, and she told me that it's also kind of the same setup in terms of like the Halloween and the Christmas things are very profound at the school, and they have this school traditions, and it is just very whimsical and cute. And every year the dangers get a little bit more real because she also gets older and she can kind of deal with that. And honestly, that sounds like exactly what I want right now, especially if the first book is like mostly whimsical and cute and about this younger child. I feel like the stakes is probably gonna be not too high, so I'm excited. Like I said, I put it on my e-reader. I might buy the physical copies because they're really cute, but I wanted to start it first and see what I feel. But yeah, Lyra was so excited about it, and I think she has incredible taste in books, so I don't think this can really go wrong. But this is a little bit out of my comfort zone. Like, I haven't read middle grade since I was middle grade myself. So I'm curious to see how much I'm gonna like it. Has been a little while since I talked to the vlog or filmed anything. I ended up filming my Iron Flame reading vlog in between, so I spent most of my time last week reading that book and filming that video, but I finished filming it and now I have time to get back into the books that I was reading for this video. I did continue in this book while I was also reading Iron Flame, so I am now around 100 pages into this book. It's going slow but steady. I feel like that's always my experience with short story collections. I am actually really, really enjoying almost every single story I read from this book, but it's just not a book where I sit down and I read it in one sitting. I just keep picking it up whenever I have time for one story. But so far, I have not read a story in this that I did not enjoy, which is high praise for me, because that is my gripe with most short story collections. There's almost always disappointing stories in between. That's always really sad to me. But in this book so far, I've liked pretty much every single one. They're all a little bit like crazy. They all have something a little bit weird about them. They're all about love in different ways, but it is very versatile in which that love is discussed. It's not always romantic love, and it's also very much not always positive love. The characters are very flawed, the love stories are very flawed, and that is something that I really enjoy. I love stories that are more sad. You know this about me if you've seen any of my videos. Like, I love sad stories, and I love stories that are, I want to say real, not because like love stories that are perfect and have a happy ending cannot be real, but I love stories about the more difficult things in life. So that is definitely a thing that I'm liking about that book. I did start an audiobook that I think is interesting to talk about. For me, choosing an audiobook goes one or two ways. Either I have a book that I'm already interested in reading and I figure out that it's on my audiobook app and I listen to it. And then sometimes I just know like I want to listen to an audiobook right now, and I scroll through the app and I try to find something. And very often it's kind of hard to find something that I'm interested in. But this time, the like third book I saw was Blue Sisters by Coco Melors. This book is about four sisters who all live a very different life. One is a model, one is a boxer or used to be a boxer, and the other one is a lawyer, but she used to be, I think, a drug addict. And one of the sisters passed away. And at the starting point of the book, it is the like 1 year anniversary of that sister's death. And all of the sisters are dealing with it in their own ways, but very much separately. They're not really coming together in this grief. They're very much on their own islands. And then their parents tell them that they are going to sell their childhood home, which still contains all of the like physical belongings of the sister that passed away. And then they all go back to that childhood home. I've only listened to about 2 hours of this audiobook so far, so I'm not that far in yet, but I think so far it's mostly really, really poetic. I love the writing style. I also think that the way it's narrated as an audiobook is really poetic. I had to kind of get used to it because it reminds me very much of spoken word. And I don't think I've ever talked about this on my YouTube channel before, but I actually used to be a spoken word artist when I just started writing. I like performed in it. I even won some prizes. Like, that was something I really spent a lot of time on. And I stopped doing that around like COVID, but I've spent a lot of time listening to spoken word, being at shows, you know, I really was into that world. So listening to an audiobook that is kind of in that style, at the beginning I was a little bit jarred by it. I was like, I don't know if I'm into this, but I think it does really fit the writing style of the book as well. And I think it really adds something to the story. So I think I like it, but it's a little bit like just something that I had to get used to, I think. So those are the things that I am currently reading. I usually don't read 3 books at the same time, so it's a little bit much, but they're all very, very different books and they all have a very different function as well, like audio or short stories or just a novel. I think it should be easy enough to keep track of them, but I will do reading updates for all 3 of them just at different times. So yeah, I think that's what I have to say about books. In terms of more of a life thing, tomorrow I am going on a birthday outing. It was my birthday at the end of February, and I asked almost all of my friends and family to take me on a fun day out instead of giving me a physical gift. And almost all of my friends did. The dates were kind of spread around because obviously we didn't have time to like immediately do it after my birthday. So this week I actually have 2 different birthday outings, and I don't know what I'm gonna do for either of them. Tomorrow, Leora and Leonie are taking me somewhere I'm not allowed to film. Like, we're not allowed to take phones or anything into where we're going. And I also have to wear comfortable clothing that I can crawl and climb in. But it's indoors and I'm not supposed to get like dirty in any way. So I don't have to wear old clothing. So I'm really, really intrigued. Like I said, I'm not able to film the actual thing, but I think we're having lunch after as well. We might do something else. So I'm gonna take my camera, see how much I can film, but I am really curious. I'm now gonna wind down on the couch and read Nevermoor for a little bit, and I'm gonna take you along with me as much as I can tomorrow to see what we're gonna do.
you will be picked up and into Dolores.
But I'm about to reach 50% in my book. So I wanted to talk about the things that have happened so far. I am about to start a part of Nevermoor where the trials are starting, and I don't think I've talked at all yet about like what this book is actually about. So we are following Morgan, and she gets taken away from her like regular world, which is not the same as our world, but it's like similar enough. And she gets kind of kidnapped and brought to the magical realm. She didn't know it existed, and it's like very different from what she knows. She has to try to get into this magical school, and for that school she has to do trials. And like I said, I'm about to read about the first trial, but so far we've just been reading about like what this magical world looks like, what her life was like before. But that night she got taken away to the magical realm, so she didn't die. And so far it's so fun, it's so cute, it's so magical. Like there's so many cute little details about this book that I really love. It's clearly like a children's book, but I love it because there's like every chapter has a name and a little illustration that goes with it. One of my favorite parts so far is the hotel that she's living at, and this hotel is like changing, so her room keeps changing according to like her mood, but also as the room gets to know her better. So sometimes she goes to sleep in this one bed and she wakes up in a different bed, or her bathroom looks different, and there's like all of these cool rooms that have all these magical things. It's so whimsical and cute and fun to read about. And it's also just because it's a children's book, it's quite easy to get through. It's not very long, so I am having an incredible time. It is so fun to read all of these cute magical details about this world, and I'm flying through it as well. It's so immersive that I feel like every time I pick up this book I am like completely in the world and I don't want to put it down. So I'm really enjoying it.
Oh my god! Oh! Okay. So here's... Oh, it's so lekker. Ja.
I just finished reading the first Nevermoor book, and I don't have anything to say except that I loved it. This book really made me realize that I should read more middle grade fantasy books because they're just so fun. They're like fantasy in the magical way where everything is like special and different from our world, but there's no deep politics that you have to understand or really difficult subjects. I feel like this book was the perfect amount of like wonderful, which I guess is a funny word to use for this book, but that's what it felt like. Like the tiniest things were made so magical without spoiling anything about the story itself. One of my favorite things was the hotel. It has like its own personality in a way. Like it doesn't talk or anything, but it keeps changing the rooms and the furniture to fit what the hotel thinks you need. And one way that is really apparent throughout the whole story is this lamp. At the beginning of the story, a lamp falls down and everyone is a bit like shocked about it because that is not supposed to happen. But then it turns out that the hotel actually wanted to grow a new lamp, and throughout the whole book this lamp is like keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it reveals different things about the lamp. And at the end of the book, it's finished and we can finally see what it is and like what it says about like the story and the future and the way the hotel has changed. And I think things like that are so incredibly fun, and it makes reading this book very magical. But besides just those general things, the storyline was also really fun. It was like a little bit scary in a middle grade way. Like I would have definitely found this really scary when I was a child, but even now I felt the tension. It really kept me hooked and I really wanted to continue reading. And even now I'm really excited to start the second book in this series. So I think this book was just exactly what I wanted from it and also what I expected. Like it's really well written, it's really enjoyable and entertaining, and it keeps you hooked and it keeps you engaged. Everything is really intentional and it's just really fun and cute and just magical and wonderful. I really understand why everyone keeps recommending this book, even though, or maybe especially because it's middle grade. So I think this book is a 4-star read. I don't think it's quite 5 stars, but 4 stars definitely. And I'm excited to read the second book. I'm not gonna go into it right away just because I have so many other books that I want to read, but I definitely know that there's gonna be a moment where I'm like, oh, I'm craving this same feeling again. And then I'm definitely gonna pick up the second book. We have reached the end of this video, but before I go, I wanted to give one final update of the 2 books that I have not yet finished, but did start in this video. The filming process of this video was very chaotic for me. Usually I'm pretty structured with my reading and my filming, and this time I just kind of read all over the place. I filmed all over the place, so I feel like there's a lot going on. Also because I read 3 books in this video, it just all feels a little bit messy to me, so I wanted to kind of round it out by talking about both the short story collection and the audiobook that I started in this video. To start with Someone Who Will Love You in All Your Damaged Glory, I have not finished this book, but I am still really, really enjoying it. Like I said when I started it, I'm not really a short story lover, so it takes me a while to get through short story collections. Also because I have to be in the right mood to read a short story. But generally, I think this is one of the better short story collections I have read, at least so far, because I have not read a story that I did not enjoy. Every single story is really surprising. It's really unique. Some have like sci-fi or fantasy elements. Some are just really beautiful. Other ones are really sad or relatable. Like everything has its own purpose, and I feel like it's curated really, really well. It's really unique and a little bit weird, but like in a good way. So I definitely recommend this book, especially if you like short story collections. But even if you don't, I feel like this is the perfect book to have on your nightstand, to have around if you want to just pick it up sometimes and read a short story and really enjoy it, and then put it away for like weeks and then pick it up again. Like that, this book is perfect for that. And then the audiobook I have been listening to. Last time I talked to you about this book, I had just started it, and right now I am about halfway. And this is an incredible book. Like, I am enjoying every single second that I'm listening to this book. This is one of those audiobooks that I will pause when I notice that I am like distracted and I'm doing something else. And I know that may sound a little weird, but like sometimes there's audiobooks where I put them on and then something happens or I have to read something or whatever, and I don't really care that I'm missing some part of the story. As long as it's not more than a few minutes, I know that I, can understand the general picture. But with this story, every time I'm like slightly distracted or I'm getting a text or something, I'm pausing the audiobook so I can have my full attention on it when I'm listening to it. And that is mostly because this book is really poetic. So every single sentence is just really beautiful. It's a really sad story. It's a story about grief, it's a story about drug use, and honestly, about so many things. Like, we're following 3 different characters who all experience grief, but they all deal with it in a very specific and individual way. So within those 3 storylines, there is so many things that kind of pop up in the story. But drug and alcohol abuse is a big one that keeps coming back. So if you're sensitive to that, then maybe don't pick up this book. But I am really, really loving the way that every single thing is described. I think it shows the hurt and desperation of grief in a very beautiful way. And all 3 characters have that same feeling of being desperate for something or someone in this case, and not knowing what to do with that feeling. And also, if you have sisters or brothers that you're really close with, I feel like there's a lot of things that you can recognize in this book. I think it describes having siblings in such a beautiful way. Like, you can tell that the writer is writing from experience. Like, there's some parts of having siblings that you cannot describe to someone who's an only child. If I would have to describe what kind of books I like, I would probably say like sad and poetic, and that is exactly what this book is. So I am just savoring every single second that I get to listen to this audiobook. I don't want to rush to finish it so I can get this video out. So I'm just gonna stop it here. I will update you maybe in a different reading vlog, but I don't think anything really can go wrong with this. It's just a really good book, I think. So that is all the reading I have done over the past few weeks, and also a lot of the activities that I've done. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I always love filming these videos because I feel like I can just show you all of the things about my life and also talk about the books that I love. So I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please let me know in the comments. Let me know if you have read any of these books and what you thought about them. If you have any book recommendations based off of my opinions on these books. Reading the things you guys say in the comments is one of my favorite things about making YouTube videos, because it feels very much like a little community instead of me just sitting on my couch and talking to a camera. So I love it if you type a little something in the comments. Thank you if you do. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can subscribe down below, and I will hopefully see you again next week. Bye!